black and Hispanics are the Israelites? No. So who are we then as a people?
I'm not talking about the Israelites.
Okay. So let me prove it to you. Get Joel chapter 3. We're gonna name a couple things in history. Did not the so-called black man get sold into captivity? Did he get sold to the white man? Okay, so check this out. Joel chapter 3, and we'll jump down to verse 6. Say it again. Of course, we're going to get their names. Go ahead. So this is Joel chapter 3, and we'll jump up to verse 4.
The book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
So Tyre and Zidon, they are sons of Ham. Ham is the progenitor of the so-called Africans. You get what I'm saying? The Libyans, the Ethiopians, the Canaanites. So Tyre and Zidon is a dark-skinned race of people. God is saying, what you got to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? Go ahead.
And are the coast of Palestine.
And then the coast of Palestine. So there go your Arabs. So the Africans and the Arabs now jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. The children also of Judah.
So the children of Judah, when you read that sign, brother, when it says Judah, it says the so-called African Americans, right? The children of Judah, go ahead.
And the children of Jerusalem.
And then the other 11 tribes, go ahead.
Have ye sold unto the Grecians?
Have ye sold unto the Grecians? So was not the so-called black man sold unto the whites, the Greeks. But what did the Bible call them? The children of who?
Jerusalem.
The children of Judah and Jerusalem. So that's who we are. We the seed of Judah, who was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. So according to history, we just proved that God is prophesying and telling us that the Israelites got sold into slavery unto the Europeans. But the Bible is calling them Greeks. Now they call themselves Europeans today. But why did it happen though? So now get Isaiah 42. That's your bus, brother? Your bus coming? Well, continue to listen while you cross-search. So this is Isaiah chapter 42. And we'll start at verse 23.
The book of Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 23. Who among you will give ear to this?
Right, so who among us, who that hears the voice, the word of the Most High going out, is going to actually give ear and pay attention to what's being said? Go ahead.
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? So this was prophesied and foretold in Isaiah's time. And in Isaiah's time, he was talking to the 12 tribes of Israel, prophesying to them about the time to come. But what will happen in the time to come? Go ahead.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil?
It says, who gave Jacob for a spoil? So we already understand that Jacob, name was changed to Israel. And he had 12 sons, which became the 12 tribes of Israel. And that is you black and Hispanics today. So now the question is, who gave the Israelites, you black and Hispanics, up for a spoil? Meaning, who allowed you to be destroyed? Who allowed your heritage and your wealth and everything that was given to you from the Father to be taken? Go ahead.
And Israel to the robbers?
And then who allowed us to be taken by robbers, kidnappers? Because we didn't voluntarily get on those boats. We was forced to get on those boats. Go ahead.
Did not the Lord?
What did that say?
Did not the Lord?
Did not the Lord send the black and Hispanics into captivity? So it wasn't because the so-called European was so great and he was so strong. Neither was it because he had guns. Because the spirit of the Father that was in the Israelites caused all nations to faint at the presence of you. But that was when we was keeping God's commandments. So now, why did the Father send the black and Hispanics into captivity? Go ahead.
He against whom we have sinned.
It says he, meaning the Most High God, whom
against we have sinned.
Against whom we have sinned. So because we broke the commandments of God, that's why we're here in the land of America, which is the land of our captivity. Just because they give us freedom to walk about and they not chasing us down with horses or asking for your pass, don't mean that we're not in captivity. Because can they not come and mow us down in the street? How you doing, sis? You believe in Christ? You believe in the Bible? Okay, so now let's see something that Christ said. Did you know Christ? So Matthew 4:17. So what's some things that Christ, he told us as being the people of the Lord to do? You know what I'm saying? And that's something.
Obey his laws.
Of course. Of course. Okay. So you got some knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we still to keep the commandments, correct?
Yes, but do we all fall short?
We fall short.
I don't think no one-
We fall short when we make a choice. Because now let's get Psalms 19. Because this is something that we gotta understand. The saying Psalms 19 and 7. So this is how we change our lives, and then hold that, and then you get Matthew 5 and 48. So did not the Father create us? So with the Father creating us, does he not know what his creation is capable of? You get what I'm saying? So now, let's see something that he told the Christ, his son, that he sent down to set an example for us. This is what he told Christ to tell us. This is Matthew 5 and 48.
The book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect.
So now Christ is saying, be ye therefore perfect. Go ahead.
Even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Even as the Father which is in heaven is perfect, right? So now let's go to Psalms 19 and 7, because now we got to find out how to become perfect. Because it's possible. It's possible with faith. It's possible with faith. Because what's noted about Abraham?
No, what I know about Abraham.
What's noted? What's noted about Abraham?
Well, okay. I'm not. Oh, that's why I hate saying this. I shouldn't, forgive me, Father. But I know that he was a giving man, a loving man. He gave up his best land to Lot. Wasn't Lot his cousin?
His nephew.
His nephew? Oh, I knew he was paying.
So,
and he gave it up.
Galatians 3 and 6.
And he waited. And his wife Sarah.
Yep.
Took a while for her to bear a child.
Of course. So
but
now.
He was wait a minute. One more. Was he going to sacrifice his son?
Of course. So now, these are all things that the Father told Abraham. And Abraham was what? Obedient. Yeah. So now this is Galatians chapter 3, and what we say, verse 6? Galatians 3 and 6. Go ahead.
The book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 6. Even as Abraham believed God.
So Abraham did what?
Believed.
So what made Abraham perfect in the eyesight of the Lord? Go and read it from the top. Go ahead. Even as Abraham what?
Believed God.
Go ahead.
And it was accounted to him for righteousness.
So because Abraham believed, that's the essential key for us to be perfect. We got to believe it. We can't walk around with the mindset, putting it in our mind that it's impossible and that we can't do it.
We have doubt.
We can't doubt. And the thing that we doubt is what? Abraham believed who?
God.
Abraham believed the Father.
Yes.
So now, this is the book of who? The Bible is the book of God. So now, Psalms 19 and 7. So now, let's stay right where Abraham was. Abraham did what? He believed. So now as we stand here today, you believe too. Yeah. Check this out. Go ahead.
The book of Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect.
The law of the Lord is what?
Perfect.
Perfect. So now, if the law of the Lord is perfect, go ahead.
Converting the soul.
It changes the soul. Because the soul that we have without this Bible is a soul that lies. It's a soul that steals. It's a soul that commits adultery. It's a soul that eats unclean animals. Our diet be wrong. So now, the law of the Lord is perfect, and it has the ability to convert the soul. Go ahead.
The testimony of the Lord is sure.
You know what the testimony is? The testimony is the words of the prophets that went in and reproved to the Israelites that the Father said, keep the commandments and live. That is possible. So every prophet that spoke, that the Most High gave the Spirit to, they always went back and told Israel, come back to the law. Because the law of the Lord is what?
Perfect.
So if the law of the Lord is perfect, sis, and we believe in the law, right? And then we keep the law, which is perfect, what do we become? Perfect. So that's why I said we got to believe. We got to stop allowing people to tell us that we are not capable of doing something, because the Most High created us. The Creator knows more than man knows. Man says it can't be done, but you know why man says it can't be done? Because they want to continue to sin. Every brother, sister that says you can't be perfect is something that they holding on to, that the Father is telling them to do away with. And because they holding on to it, then they doubt.
Let me ask you a question. I love stories that the healing. Do we have power to heal?
Yes. And you know the healing power that we have? We heal the mind. Because when it says Christ came to save the sick, right? Did everybody have palsy?
No.
So now get St. John chapter 8. And I'm gonna bring a real live example that we see every day in our lives.
Okay.
It's not the world full of fornication. That's unlawful sex. That's hooking up, going home, hooking up,
Booty
going
calls.
home, booty calls, right?
Yeah.
So then it's not the world full of adultery. So now, and it has spread like a what? Cancer, right? What do they call it? Cancer. What do they call cancer?
A disease.
They call it a
A
sickness.
sickness, a disease.
So
a
now,
illness,
let's see what Christ said to a sister that had this same sickness. Because
Well,
Christ...
I remember the woman that had the issue of blood.
Right, of course. But we dealing with, that's a sickness as well. But we dealing with the sickness of the mind. Because we wonder, does the Most High God still heal people? Of course. So now this is John chapter 8, and we'll get to verse 3.
The book of John chapter 8 and verse 3. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery.
So the scribes and Pharisees, they came to Christ with a woman that was taken in adultery. She was an adulterer. Go ahead.
And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act.
So they caught this woman in the very act of sleeping with a man that was not her husband, or sleeping with a man that was already married.
So he did adultery too.
Of course, but they being wicked, they only brought the woman. So if they caught her in the very act, why is the woman only present?
That's what I'm saying. It takes two to tango. as they
Exactly.
say.
So, but that's the wickedness that they came trying to tempt the Christ. But we dealing with the sickness, right? So now, go ahead.
Now Moses and the law
So they understood that Moses in the law at that time said for this woman to be stoned. But Christ came to give us grace, meaning the opportunity to change. Instead of you getting hit with the brick, you got some words. And after you got the words, you got an example put in front of you. And with the example, that example gave you the time to change. It gave you a space to get it together instead of you die without an opportunity to do something different. So now let's jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. When Christ had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman.
Because Christ said, he that is without sin cast the first stone.
Amen.
So now all these brothers being convicted because they was committing sins worthy of death too. So after they said that, they all went away one by one. So now Christ stood back up and he's like, where is the people that brought you here to accuse you? Go start from the top of 10 again.
The book of John chapter 8 and verse 10. When Christ had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Who have no man condemned thee?
Go ahead.
She said, No man, Lord. And Christ said unto her, Neither do I condemn
So
thee.
Christ said, neither do I condemn you because of what? The sickness, adultery. You get what I'm saying? That's a sick spirit. That's a spirit that will control our mind and cause us to commit all kind of whoredoms and wickedness, right? So now let's see what Christ told the woman.
Go and sin no more.
Oh, and what?
Sin no more.
So now, if she sins no more, because remember, Christ tells her to sin no more, right? So in order to tell somebody that they are sinning, what do you have to use? Because what is sin? Do you know what sin is? Get John 3 and 1 John 3 and 4.
I'm wrong.
Right, but let's see what in particular it is.
Yeah,
Because
that's me.
because it'll help you understand that Christ did more than say go and sin no more. So this is 1 John 3 and 4.
The book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committed sin,
Whosoever committed sin, there that word is again.
transgresseth
Transgress means to go against.
Against.
Go ahead.
also the law.
The law. So to transgress the law, go ahead.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Sin is the breaking of God's laws. So now, go back to John 8. So now, Christ told this woman, go and sin no more. So did he just say, go and sin no more, or did he show her the law that she was breaking? Because in order to tell somebody that they sinning, you have to show them the law that they transgressing. So was it just go and sin no more, or
But
did she
I
get
believe
worse?
he showed her.
Exactly.
I believe
so
he
in
showed her.
showing her, what did Christ have the ability to do? Go back to
Question
Psalms
you asked.
19 and 7. Psalms 19 and 7.
But what I see is that, you know, because
Let's stay here, though.
But
Let's
the
stay here.
people that came to stone her, they wasn't.
Right. But
They were sinful.
we dealing with the sister. So
I know,
now,
but they
what
was gonna
Christ,
stone her.
Psalms 19 and 7, check it out.
The book of Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect.
Christ used the law of the Lord, which was perfect. And he used the law to correct this woman, to tell her that she was committing sin. She was being an adulterer.
I believe she went and
so
sinned
the
and
law,
didn't do it no more.
the law went into her mind through the teaching of Christ and did what?
The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
So if her soul was converted, was not the sickness of adultery healed? So then, according to the Bible, we still
119 and
healed.
9.
Psalms 119 and 9.
I believe so.
So,
Ooh, that
but in order for our sicknesses to change, this is what we got to do. Psalms 119 and 9.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his ways?
How do we cleanse our way from the sicknesses that we have? Go ahead.
By taking heed
By taking heed. But what do we? Go ahead.
thereto according to thy word.
By taking heed thereto according to thy word. How do we take heed to the word though? It's Ecclesiastes 19 and verse 19. This is how we take heed. It's not take heed.
Do you understand what he's saying? By listening,
I know listening.
you gon'
and
it's a
I'm
healing.
eating,
Yeah.
I feed.
Yeah.
I feed.
Right, now you listening now, but
No, but though I feed. When
Right.
I feed, when I'm just the 911 guy, but thank you, Lord. I got my
Right.
place. Thank you, you woke me up. Thank you for giving me some money. Thank you.
And always
Thank you. I sit up here and stub my toe. I know I won't kick that door again. Thank you for everything.
Right, right.
I thank him for everything. So I heed, not eat. That's
So
my
now-
food.
So now let's deal with that.
That's my
So we take
sustenance.
heed. We take heed to the word of the Father, right?
you know what you bringing out, brother, is really heavy because there are a lot of people that are sick and they want to know
Right.
that they want somebody else to come with the power of healing when the power of healing is basically inside of yourself if you take heed. And that's what the Spirit is bringing out right now. Because you could have diseases, you could be sick as a dog, you could be going through hell and high water. And if you start to really take heed to the scriptures and be fully convinced and persuade that I'm not going to keep being wicked, the Father can lift these diseases up off for you and then heal you. So is it within us? Yes. We got to make the choice. Am I going to start taking heed to the point to where I'm going to make this change or I'm not? Because if we don't make the change, we're going to stay sick.
Exactly.
If we do make the change,
Exactly.
the process begins with the Father.
Yep.
Now he going to look at us and say, that's the daughter that I want.
Exactly.
That's the son that I've been looking for, that I've been waiting for. And then you're going to lay up on your bed and begin to start being cured, healed. And then we ourselves, by having this understanding, we can tell it to the next brother and to
Exactly.
the next sister.
Exactly.
This is the formula. See, we used to going to the physicians, but we can tell it to the next brother or to the next sister. This is the formula to help heal yourself, to turn that disease around into a healthy, thriving life and purge that up out of your life.
So check this out.
Because the disease
Yep.
gonna go out and the spirit's gonna go out with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So check this out. So this is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 12. Because like the brother said, in all the sicknesses and the diseases that we have, we look to what? We look to medicine, right? We look to all these different, we look to counseling that has nothing to do with the Bible. We look for groups, get-togethers that ain't dealing with the Bible, right? Because this sickness, it take control of us, and we be wanting help, but this is the help. Check this out. This is Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 12.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 12. For it was neither herb.
So what do herbs do? Herbs are for healing, right? Okay, so go ahead.
Nor mollifying plaster.
Neither is it the baking or boiling of different herbs, putting them together. Neither is it the mollifying plaster. Go ahead.
That restored them to health.
That restores the Israelites to health. Go ahead.
But thy word.
But who?
Thy word.
So what's going to heal the Israelites, the black and the Spanish, of all the sicknesses and diseases that we go through? Is it the herb?
That word.
The word.
Yeah.
So in order for us to change, in order for our lives to change and us to come up out of the situations we in to where these spirits have control over us, because when the alcoholic is drunk, when he becomes sober, that spirit that possessed him, he does not want it. But the spirit is still there, and it has so much power that he turned right back to the thing that's making him sick. He turned right back to the thing that he's using as a cloak to take away some kind of pain and suffering that he's having. But that pain and suffering that he's having, the antidote, the cure, or the medicine is the word of the Father. Because the word of the Father is what's going to change our minds. And when we change our minds, we're going to think differently. And then when we think differently, we're going to see our lives. We're going to be able to look in the mirror and actually call a spade, and not continue to think that what'd you say earlier? All have fallen short. Because the thing is, we got to stop falling short. We make a choice, and we make falling short as if it's something that's accepted of the Father.
It's not
but the Most High,
accepted. I don't want to keep hearing it.
right. But in order to keep hearing it, we got to be an example of it. We got to be one to step up, use the scriptures, apply the scriptures, and then when that person comes for help, you open the same book that you believe in, that you follow. Because remember, Abraham believed, and because he believed in every word that the Father told him to do. He did it, and because of that, it was accounted to him for righteousness. That belief. And then when he believed, when the Most High told him to get up out of the land of Ur, what did he do? Did he kick back and say, well, man, I got a house set up, I got sheep, I got cattle set up? Or did he pick up with Sarah, and did he keep it moving? That's the belief that we got to have, to where when the Father tells us to do something, we actually do it. And then when we do it, he light a candle of understanding to us to where it makes sense, and then we see the mire, we see the destruction that we was in. So now get Matthew 11. So now this is the next ingredient we gotta add.
Before you get there,
Go
get
ahead.
this. Second Chronicles 16.
Y'all gonna have to write this down for me. Google it, something. My
You
brother's
will.
gonna be mad at me
Second Chronicles
because
16.
I just got my
12.
apartment and he's trying to move my furniture for free.
Yeah. So now, stay here.
I need to move my
You
furniture.
remember? It's an example. You read John 11. You had
Matthew.
Mary Magdalene, right?
Yeah, was she a
She
whore?
nope, she was not. That's the lie that's taught. But
She was not.
she was not.
Did she wash his feet?
Of course.
Okay. I just want to know.
But after she humbled herself, but check this out.
Okay.
She had a sister named Martha, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they was at a feast, and Martha was serving, right?
Yeah.
You know
She
where
was
Mary
washing
was?
his feet.
No,
You
she
know
was
serving?
sitting down, and she was listening. Let me tell it to you.
No,
Let me
wait
give
a
it to
minute,
you.
wait a minute.
Sis.
Let me ask. I'm sorry. Let me ask. I know I'm not sorry. I apologize. But one of them was serving him. One of them was trying to showboat.
No.
I'm wrong?
Martha was serving. Stay
And
with
he's
me. Let me
telling
give
you.
it to you.
Okay.
Martha was serving, and Mary was sitting at the feet of Christ being taught. And Martha told the Christ to tell her to get up and come help.
No.
And Christ told Martha that she was getting the thing that was necessary.
Thank you. I knew
So
one of
what?
them was getting
So
the good
I'm saying this to you. Your brother gonna be where he at. But the thing that's necessary for your life is you standing right here hearing the words of the Father. So you let that do what it's gonna do. The Most High trying to save you right now and give you the help that you went looking for, because when you saw the Bible open and you heard the words of the Father coming out, you walked right on up. So don't deny the power of the Father that's trying to give you the answers that you're looking for. It's right here in your face. So 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 12.
The book of 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 12. And Asa in the 39th year of his reign was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord.
So now, the brother Asa, he was diseased, and the Most High was tearing him out the frame. And it got so bad to where the disease grew. And in all that pain and all that suffering, the thing that he did not do, he did what? Sought not.
He sought not to the Lord.
He didn't seek the Lord. So the reason that we going through the mayhem and we had a destruction and it continues and never stops is because we not seeking the Lord. We doing everything else, and we got time for everything else. And then, in our pride, we try and man up on the judgments of the Lord. And we don't understand that we pining away. Pining away meaning we are dying. Our flesh is deteriorating. We went from 2 pills to now the doctor giving us 15 pills around the clock on the schedule. See, look at all the mayhem that we go through and that we in, and all the Father wants us to do is to turn back unto Him. All we got to do is turn back unto Him. So it says that he sought not the Lord. Go ahead.
But to the physicians.
But to the physicians. Go ahead.
And Asa slept with his father.
Because he sought to the physicians and not the Lord, he died with that disease. They buried him.
So it's not the physicians that's going to heal you.
Exactly.
It's the word that he's bringing out.
Yeah.
It's the word of God.
That's what's going to heal us. So now Matthew 11. So now, going right through, because that's the spirit that you brought that out. You know what I'm saying? So now, Matthew 11 and 28.
The book of Matthew chapter 11 and verse 28.
So the words in red are whose words? The words of Christ. The Savior. The King, Lord, and Savior that came here to set an example and told us what the Father wanted us to know. Check this out. Matthew 11 and 28.
The book of Matthew chapter 11 and verse 28. Come unto me.
So Christ said, come unto me. What are we not doing? We profess the name of Christ all day.
All day, every day.
Christ is my Lord and Savior. I believe in Christ. He's my King. But what did Christ tell us to do?
Come unto me.
He said, come. How many of us are really coming? Because this is the Spirit of Christ right now that you heard. Christ, the Spirit of Christ, dwells inside of the flesh of men. And he comes down and he speaks to the children of Israel because we his people. We started out with the same thing that the Most High told Ezekiel, go unto the house of Israel and give them my words. These are the words of the Father. And Christ is saying, come unto him. Go ahead.
All ye that labor.
Are you not laboring? Are you not walking around in this earth tired, wore out, just trying to make it, trying to get by? Is that not our life? So what do we got to do in that life? We got to come to Christ. Go ahead.
And are heavy laden.
And are heavy laden. Don't you at times get down? Don't you at times get so heavy to where it's like, I'm at the end of the road to where I'm giving up? You got to come to Christ. But what is it to come to Christ? What does it mean? What is Christ looking for? Go ahead.
And I will give you rest.
And he's going to give us rest.
Yeah,
As tired as we be, even on, and check this out, even on our day off, the day that we get freedom from labor, you get a day off of work, what we still find something? Don't we still find something to do? So now, take that and all the mayhem and destruction we go through, right? And then the Most High sent his prophets to speak to us. And what do? We still find something that we feel is more important than actually receiving the rest of the Father. Go ahead.
Take my yoke upon you.
So what is Christ's yoke? What do you think his yoke is?
I know what equally yoke is.
Well, Christ has a yoke. When you put a yoke on somebody, they ain't going nowhere. You in control, right?
Yeah.
So let's get 2
Like
Timothy 2. 2 Timothy 2. No. First Peter 2. Let's get 1 Peter 2. Let's see what the yoke of Christ is. And this is the same yoke that he had from the Father. So he was yoked to the Father. So let's see how. So this is 1 Peter 2 and 21.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called.
For even hereunto were we called. The ye is talking about us. So now what's your name, sis?
Felicia.
Felicia, the Most High is trying to call you. Are you going to listen? Or are you going to come?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an
So
example
Christ left us an example. Go ahead.
that ye should follow his footsteps.
That we should follow his steps. So now, you got an animal, you got a beast, right? And you walking your dog, right? And you got that dog on a leash. That leash is causing the dog to do what? Follow you. So now we got the yoke of Christ, right? Christ left us an example to follow his steps. Let's see what that yoke is. Go ahead.
Who did no sin,
We got to stop sinning. Because Christ in his life, he did no sin. So now the yoke that Christ wants us to be yoked with is now, this got to be said about us to where Felicia ain't doing no sin. It's possible.
Is it?
Of course. We already read what's the beginning stages as Abraham what? Abraham believed.
So you recognize.
So you got to believe. You got to start right there with believing. And
Stop
then
doubting.
stop doubting, and then you got to go find the thing that's perfect, which is what? The law. And then when you follow the law, if your life becomes the law and your flesh does the law, then what do we see? Well, it's all right, sis. So you got what the Most High wanted you to get. Reach out and continue to study, continue to read, and continue to have that faith. Now you got to go from this moment forward. You got to believe everything that the Bible says. And it starts with you. It starts with you. So now, when she see grandma or he see grandma, when she see grandma doing it, it's gonna be easy to follow that same pattern because she gonna walk in the same footsteps that you walk. The same way that you gotta walk in the same footsteps that Christ walked in, which is the life of no sin. All right? All right, sis. All right, sis. So let's finish that. Let's finish that. So this is 1 Peter 2, and now we at verse 22.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 22.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
This brother was just in the live. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really recognize him. He said he stayed around the way.
Okay.
Saw the live, recognized the scene, and walked up around.
What? That's
job, man.
okay. That's the spirit, brother.
My job. You gonna go back to the community to stay out here, brother?
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Get
that chicken on the stove.
So now, let's get First John 1. So now, you want this here, brother. Check this out. Cause you can't get the full effect of this on the screen. So 1 John chapter 1, and we'll start at verse 5.
The book of 1 John chapter 1 and verse 5.
Let's start at verse 1.
1 John 1 and 1. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled, of the word of life.
So now, how can you actually handle us, shake hands with us behind the scenes? So these brothers saying the same thing that the Most High prophesied from the beginning. They seen, they heard, and they handled. They talking about Christ. So now you find some brothers with the spirit of Christ, and you don't want to stand in the flesh, in the presence with them brothers?
Oh, yeah.
These brothers didn't go nowhere, man. When Christ went, they followed.
Right.
So that's the same spirit, man, that the Father have us saying is the spirit of the Christ. You got to be in the flesh too. Because being in the flesh, jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. This then is the message which we have heard of him, and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all.
So we understand that in the Most High is light. It's understanding. is a path, is instruction. That's all in the Father. And in him ain't no darkness. Ain't no self-righteousness. Ain't no giving ourselves a cloak. Ain't no us changing the law to shape our life. Because that's what a lot of Israelites do. They shape the law. They change the law in their mind. They don't change the book. But they change the understanding that they interpret just to fit the life that they want to live. Right. The Most High said, and in the Father ain't no darkness, and neither is it a misinterpretation, because when we follow the Father, believing and studying and following and doing what it say, the Most High give us a true understanding. Ain't no misinterpretation. We get the exact interpretation. So when we get that interpretation from the Father, ain't no darkness, and neither is it any excuse. A lot of people in darkness, they want an excuse. They try and find something to where they say, well, this is reasonable. But the only thing that's reasonable unto the Father is a life without sin. Go ahead.
If we say that we have fellowship with them and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth.
See that? So now, if we say we got the fellowship with Christ and with the Father, and we continue in the path of the old man, where ain't nothing changed, except you may get brothers that put fringes on, but the mind is still the same. They trying to put old wine in new bottles. It's impossible, because Christ said they gonna bust, because the old man cannot exist in the life that the new man's supposed to walk in. He gonna lead to further destruction, because now he playing with the Father because he know, because and him knowing better, now his judgment is worse. You get what I'm saying? So now, if we say we walking in the light and we got fellowship with the Father, and we continue in the same old wickedness, we lie and do not the truth. Because what is the truth? You know what the truth is? It's the word, but it's something that's like a basic answer. You get what I'm saying? So now let me show you. So let's get Psalms 147 and verse 119 and 142. I'm sorry. Psalms 119 and 142. So this is Psalms 119 and 142.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness.
So now we getting into that nitty gritty of the truth. It's a righteousness that's everlasting. So if something is everlasting, does it die? Does it fade away? So if we not walking in if we walking in the truth, then the righteousness that's of the scriptures and of the Father is gonna always be in us, right? Go ahead.
And thy law is the truth.
And the law is the truth. So now that truth, when it says we lie and do not the truth, then we ain't keeping the commandments, we ain't keeping the law, neither are we in the righteousness that the Father said is everlasting. Go ahead. Now let's go back to St. 1 John. So we're in 1 John chapter 1 and verse...
Any questions for us, brother? Any questions for us?
Anything.
Something you want to learn, know about the scriptures?
Something you read or something, you just trying to get an understanding. We here for you, bro.
My notes at home, I really don't know right now.
Thank you.
So now we dealing with that fellowship, right? So now that righteousness, so now if we walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. Go ahead.
But if we walk in the light.
So now we got to walk in the light, in the understanding, in the righteousness of the Father, right? Go ahead.
As he is in the light.
The same way that Christ walked in the righteousness of the Father, right? Go ahead.
We have fellowship one with another.
And the true righteousness of the Father is in what? We have what?
Fellowship.
So the true righteousness of the Most High come from fellowship. Go ahead.
And the blood of Christ, his Son, cleanses us.
Because in that fellowship, the blood of Christ, meaning the light, because what caused Christ to shed blood? Hebrews 12. Let's see what caused Christ to shed his blood. This is Hebrews 12 and 4.
The book of Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 4.
So now Paul is saying something in reverse. Because he's correcting the Hebrews, meaning the Jews that was at Jerusalem, about the way that they was not living that they were supposed to. And he's using the example that Christ set on how they should live. So check this out, Hebrews 12:4.
Hebrews 12:4. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin.
So what caused Christ to bleed? Striving against sin. And to where he lived a life that was perfect. So his life, when it says the blood of Christ, the life that he lived striving against sin, is going to change us. Because the life that we see, the life that we teach each other about, we leave examples for each other about, is going to cleanse us. And you're going to get brothers that's going to sharpen brothers. And we're going to stay on top of each other. We're going to admonish one another, right? And we're going to allow the Spirit of the Father and all the different gifts that he gives to different brothers to actually come together and put all those spirits in one body, one congregation, one fellowship, and it's going to lead and guide that body, that brother, that sister to the righteousness of the Father. So now, that was the importance of, you get brothers, man, that's out and they in the Spirit of the Father, you don't see them, and that's a righteous thing that you did. That shows that you know what, you truly believe in the Father, believe that you really want to change, that you see, that you have the ability to see when something is right, and then you came to meet face to face. So yeah, you don't go back home. You stay here, man, and you get everything that they could, man, because you know what? When you read the different books of Paul, you know what those was? Letters, man, that he wrote to all those different Israelite congregations. But what did they really want? They wanted to see him in person, but he couldn't make it. So now the Most High make it to where instead of you sending a letter because we ain't got cars and it don't take 30 days to get from here to Chicago. Right. It take a few hours. You get what I'm saying? So now the Most High made it possible to where we can actually be in the presence one of another, man. So we got to take we got to take that every chance that we get, because every chance that we come together, the Most High is going to give us something to grow in. You get what I'm saying? He going to give us something to grow in. So, you sure you ain't got no questions? So you've been just kind of just reading and studying on your own? Yeah. Okay.
Joining y'all live on Sabbath and stuff. Writing my little notes down.
Okay. So
You was in the lab yesterday?
Yeah, I see y'all on 18th.
Right.
Yeah. So now, okay. So, you familiar with the dress code, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got some fringes, but I ain't got the t-shirt.
Okay. Well, continue to work on it. You know, the reason is because the Most High see, man. So now, just weights. Where's that at?
Before you get it, you want me to tell you how you can, a good way to get them fringes on there if you don't know how to sew them? You can get that,
Fabric glue?
you get some fabric glue.
Yeah, I don't even know where to get fringes here.
Hobby
Unless
Lobby.
I order them online.
You can order them online or go to Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby, y'all.
Yeah, they got some fringes.
Okay. I ain't
You know, take about a yard and a half to do a shirt.
Right. Yeah, I ordered mine like my first fabric. I ordered it online. I did my first and I'm like, I be seeing like Israelites down here, they don't want to tell me where they get their fringes, but I ain't keep ordering them online.
That's wicked. Right. It's a lot of wickedness in Israel, man. People, they just come into the truth, hold the Bible, and still hold on to the old man. That's the old man. But that's all right. The Most High brought you here for a reason, man. You know, you're going to grow and learn, and then you know what? If you continue to grow, brother, one day you'll be teaching them, and you'll be explaining them on why not to be the way that they are.
Right.
And they'll be astonished, like, man, you was the person that we had passed on. But now, remember what the Father say. He raised the base up.
Exactly.
You know, where's the wise? Where's the disputer?
Right. So let's get that. 1 Corinthians 1. Because that, you know something, man, and then coming out here, man, a lot of brothers wouldn't do that. Because a lot of brothers, man, in their mind, they feel like they're on a level. They're on a level to where they ain't no more learning from them. You know what I'm saying? To where they got the understanding, they got the blueprint to where now they just jump right to teachings. But the Most High see them, but check out who the Most High is looking for. So this 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse, we'll start at verse 26.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren.
So now you see your calling. You see, my bad, how the Most High is giving you the spirit, man, to actually learn. Because a lot of people don't have the spirit to take the time out to actually be taught. In your free time. You get what I'm saying? You studying, you read, you keeping up with the classes. That takes the spirit of the Father. Because the Most High leave a lot of our people out here blind, just continuing in the walk and the way that they want to go and doing what they want to do. You get what I'm saying? So the Most High, he definitely trying to build the spirit that you got. So now you see your calling. So now as you see the Most High dealing with you, go ahead.
How's that not many wise men?
So now that the Most High, and you're going to notice that the Most High, he ain't dealing with many wise men, but what is the wisdom that we talking about? Is it the wisdom of the scriptures or is it the wisdom of the world? The wisdom of the world. Yeah, when the Most High said not many wise, they wise in their own understanding. You got brothers that's focusing on the white man's the devil. You got brothers focusing on nuclear war. You got brothers focusing on the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. You got brothers that's trying to be deep, trying to get the deep secrets of the scriptures, like in the book of Daniel, in the book of Revelations, who the 12 beasts, who's all that. So the Most High said not many wise, because that ain't what the Father brought us here for. Because Christ himself, the man with the most understanding that ever walked the face of the earth, what did he teach? Did he teach dark sayings? Did he teach understanding that was above the people? What did he teach them? He simply told them to repent. Exactly, by using the law. So the Most High, all the brothers, man, that they fly right past the law. That's the ones that the Most High said not many wise. Because they wise and they understanding on what they think the Most High got us here to do. America gonna fall when the Father ready for it to. Esau always been the devil, but you know who else is the devil? Exactly. And a lot of brothers that focus on the white man, the devil, they don't even look in the mirror. Because Christ corrected the same scribes and Pharisees and said, ye of your father, the devil. You get what I'm saying? So now, what should we be more worried about? The law, statutes, and commandments, and repenting in the faith of the Christ. So he said, not many wise. Go ahead.
After the flesh.
After the flesh. So they after the flesh. What is in the flesh, though? Exactly. Let's get it. Galatians, Ephesians 6. Is it?
Fornication and all that. Adultery, idols.
Right.
Well, it's Galatians. I'm sorry. It's Galatians 5. It should be 17. So now, not many wise after the flesh. This is what brothers be full of, man. You know what I'm saying? They know all about it. So this is Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19.
The book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. Now the works of the flesh.
So they be wise in the works of the flesh. Go ahead.
Are manifest.
Go ahead.
Which are these? Adultery.
So these brothers be adulterers, man. They be going from woman to woman, passing women around, lusting after other brothers' women. You get what I'm saying? They wise in the flesh. And the wisdom that they got is, they know they so subtle to where they are deceiving sisters, man, into dealing with them. So like Ecclesiasticus 4. They take advantage of people's situation. So this is Ephesians chapter 4, and it should be Ecclesiastes 4, it should be 10. Ecclesiastes 4 and 10.
The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 10. Be as a father unto the fatherless.
You see that the Most High, so these men, the Most High say, be as a father unto the fatherless, right? Teach them, raise them up, raise the young men up in the way that they should go, right? Go ahead.
And instead of
what?
And husband.
Instead of trying to have sex with the woman. You see she in a rough spot. She just probably got out of a relationship or because she got the baby, right? So now they swoop in because a sister be in need, and now they trying to be a husband. When the Most High said, instead of a husband, go ahead.
Unto their mother, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High.
You see that they'll be the son of the Most High, but instead of that, they just going right in, trying to get their issue out. So, but they be wise in that. Wise in the works of the flesh. Go back. Go ahead.
The book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 20. 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication.
Fornication. You know what fornication is? Let's get it. Let's get it. It's some. It starts.
Do you know he explained to you the behavior on why these people didn't treating you like that? Who do you think it's talking about? It's talking about them. That's the old man that's still present with them.
Yeah.
That won't even tell you something as simple as how to dress according to the law.
Yeah.
Show you how to do that.
Yeah.
Help you with that.
Yeah.
That's why the spirit of righteousness is void in them, man.
Yeah.
He breaking it down. We be thinking that they ain't committing adultery and fornicating and going to the club.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You see the madness that was in the vid last night?
Yeah.
That's the product of that, man.
Wow, right there.
Yeah. Right in the midst of it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Not correcting it.
They were down there
Not
doing
teaching it, doing it. And the Most High exposed it. You get what I'm saying? For other brothers to see. And because brothers hear that loud talking and that argumentative spirit, that contentious spirit, and they think that's the righteousness of the Most High. Oh, them brothers tough. Them brothers can speak. You got brothers that do this and that. And it ain't about them. We ain't pointing nobody out. I'm just showing you the Most High, what the Most High is showing us, that we not to be intimidated.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because we ain't on that level. Or we don't have that kind of spirit. We ain't to be intimidated. Because the Most High said, we see our calling, and this is the calling that He given to us. Not that. Because they be wise in the flesh, man. They wisdom be in the world. The old man still be present. And all they do is know the law and how to be slick with somebody that don't know the law. That's what they be. So now, fornication. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 1.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
So the Most High said it's good for a man not to what? So, explain, what do you think the touching is? Exactly. Kissing, cuddling up, grinding. They used to call it clothes burning. You get what I'm saying? All that. So Paul is telling the Corinthians it's good through the Spirit of Christ for a man not to be doing that. Why? Go ahead.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication.
Because according to the Father, it's what? No, check this out.
Fornication.
It's fornication. So if he's saying to avoid fornication, then what are those acts? Fornication. Those acts of fornication. You get what I'm saying? So that's what fornication is. We get that sex before marriage thing from the world. You get what I'm saying? Because these actions, now it is still talking about going out and just sleeping around and having casual sex. That's fornication too. But it does not start with, it don't land you in the bedroom right away. This happens first. The touching and the feeling and the caressing and the casually hooking up. You get what I'm saying? So that's what we gotta avoid. And when we actually, in our past lives may have committed those acts, but now we can't do it no more because now we got the understanding of the Father. So now that you know what fornication is, if
Even
that's
if
where
we've
you
been
at,
with a woman for a while,
say it again.
even if we've been with a woman for a while,
Even if we've been with a woman for a while, well, it's
like
definitely.
the mother and the mother of your child.
So she's the mother of your child. You still with her? Okay, so now Now you gotta
Teach the laws.
teach the laws.
You gotta teach the laws and see if
Yeah.
y'all unequally yoked.
Exactly.
Because
Because she don't want to learn the law.
well, it takes time to see.
Yeah.
So you gotta exhaust every avenue.
Right.
You understand? Because you invested in this woman. You invested time, your energy, your seed. She got your seed. You love her and everything. You understand? So the Most High knows and sees that. So the same way that you got to make the adjustment to the things that you got to put up, because you got to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Now, it ain't going to be the yellow brick road for you. Ain't no easy button. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So if you think it's hard for you, it's going to be even harder for her.
Right.
You understand? Because she got to totally, but you got to go first.
Yeah.
Because you got to set the example. So while you getting yourself together and you still trying to teach her, and she coming along, and you're going to be looking at her like you ain't getting it, you ain't doing it. That's okay. Stick in there. Because guess what? The scriptures do say if the unbelieving be pleased to dwell, then let her dwell.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to pan out right
Yeah.
over a period of time.
Right.
But if it gets to the point to where she just pack up and go, it ain't nothing you can do. Then you're gonna be like, damn, we was in fornication.
Yeah.
Then the judgment of the Father is gonna be obvious. But right now we can't tell that thing.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's gonna take time, but it's gonna take you being straight spiritual every time you get ready to deal with her. Being straight spiritual to teach her and long suffering. And you're gonna need a lot of help
Yeah.
to make it through that, because you're gonna be seeing other sisters, like you got Facebook friends, sisters on there that's zillions. Shit, you like, damn, I want one of them. This one here broke. But no, you know, she ain't broke. She just got to be taught. These was like that too.
Yeah.
Then they had to get taught.
Yeah.
You understand? We didn't see them get taught, but they was taught. And now they come forth with head wraps on and scriptures and quoting precepts and knowing more history than we know. You know what I'm saying? Knowing more shit than we know. You like, damn, you know, I want one of them.
I've been like this forever, but I ain't never gonna change.
Well, that's common. Because remember, we felt like that. We felt like that until the Most High judged our butts. You get what I'm saying? So now, as you teach us, so now get James 1. So this is spirit. One of the spirits that you gotta have to where it'll make things somewhat easy. You get what I'm saying? So James 1, because the brother mentioned a good point. Everything now you're gonna have to do first. Everything you want her to do, you're gonna have to step out there, boom, and just do it. You get what I'm saying? And it don't make you no less of a man, but remember, we lead by who? Example. So now this is James 1, and it should be verse 19.
The book of James, chapter 1, and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brother, let every man be swift to hear.
So now, when you have those conversations, when those arguments arise, you gotta be slick, and you gotta just sit there, mouth closed, and you gotta listen, and let her exhaust herself, and you hold your peace. But check this out: you can't be frowning your face up, because the scriptures say the countenance shows the change of the heart. Then she gonna get, you got an attitude, huh? So now, that's why you gotta add all of this. You gotta let her talk, and you gotta listen. And when she done, and when she finished, and when she exhausts herself, now it's your turn to use the word of the Lord. Because a lot of times they're talking because she don't know yet. So a lot of it is gonna be emotion. You know what I'm saying? And how she feel, which if it ain't according to the scriptures, it ain't right. You get what I'm saying? So now, after she exhausts herself, now you got to open up the book. And you got to let the precepts lead and guide the situation. And then, when she goes to Buddy him, you just real cool, calm, and collected. Be like, listen, I did let you talk. And when you talk, I was swift to hear. I listened to everything you said. Go ahead.
Slow.
When you say that's how a lot of arguments go, it continue to go because you trying to talk, she trying to talk. And then you escalate your voice, and then she escalate. And it's back and forth to the point to where somebody get pissed off enough to just say, F it, then I'm going to go sit in the other room. See, it only happened like that because now you having to go first. You gotta be swift to hear and slow to speak. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta set that example, and then it'll work out. It'll be so thorough, man. Because one, it's the scriptures to where when you say, you know what, did I not let you speak? Did I not answer? Did I answer you or interrupt you once? When she in her spirit says no, at that point she got no choice. Because now the conviction come in to be like, well, hey, I didn't listen to everything you said. You know what I'm saying? So now you know what, I got no choice but to listen. Because she been with you all this time, and I believe she wants things to work out. So that spirit to be there to where, okay, well, I got no choice because you did let me talk. But then another key point, go ahead.
Slow to wrath.
Slow to wrath, go ahead.
For the wrath of man.
So the slow to wrath is like I said, you can't be frowning your face. You can't be yelling at the top of your lungs. She can't see the steam coming out your ears. You get what I'm saying? Because at times, man, we want when things be right and we know it's right and people don't get it, and put us in the spirit of the flesh, man, to where we be like, oh, I can't believe you don't see it. But you can't deal like that. You just got to be long-suffering because the what? Wrath.
For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
The wrath of man, meaning our anger, our frustration, it don't work the righteousness of the Father. You know what the righteousness of the Father is? Peace. Yeah, that situation ending in peace. And as well with the understanding of the scriptures. Because she might not come right out and tell you she understand, and you know what, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, man, people, they actually do listen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to give us the credit that they was actually listening and they heard us. You know what I'm saying? But it do make sense. So that's how you want to go about doing it. You know what I'm saying? But now, Psalms 119 and 60. So now, and everything that we dealing with now, and as you learn, this is the one mistake that you can make, man, and it'll be detrimental to you, and it'll take you through a lot of pain and suffering. Psalms 119 and verse 60.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 60. I made haste.
Oh, yeah.
And delayed not to keep thy commandments.
So everything that the Father show you, you can't drag your feet in doing it. You got to make haste, and you can't delay not. Because when you delay, she might not know it right then at that point. But as she learn, and then you show her, then you give her what? An excuse. Because then she going to be able to say what you did. Or, well, when... Now that she see that it's right and find out that it's right, she's like, well, what took you so long? It took you 6 months to do it, so now I should get 6 months. Right. And now that's 6 months of, come on, you know it's right, when you gonna change? Come on, it's right here in the scriptures. Right. But you set the example of dragging your feet, so then she gonna be like, okay, I can drag mine. So everything that the Father showed you, man, you gotta actually do it right then and right there. Even if you don't understand it. Even when the scriptures, the Most High say do it, you gotta do it, not understand it, just because the Father said to do it. You know what I'm saying? And as you do it, then He'll give you the understanding after you apply it. That's how the Most High deal. You know what I'm saying? And what does the scripture call that? The thing, getting the understanding after we apply it. What do you think the Father called it? Experience. Yeah, experience. So, now, so how long you been kind of learning it?
7 months now.
About 7 months. 7 months. How's your diet?
I like food anyway, a lot of food. But I ain't eating no pork or nothing like that.
What about shrimp?
I ain't eating no shrimp.
So you pretty clear with the dietary law. Okay. What about, are you keeping the feast days?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I just ordered me a horn. I'm looking for it.
Okay. So, what about the new moons?
I really ain't got it now.
Okay. Well, definitely get with us, man, and we'll try and get you a calendar. That way you can start keeping the feast days because that's something that the Father commanded us to keep too. You know what I'm saying? Because the new moon is also a Sabbath. So if you don't know about the new moons when they come, you could be defiling the Sabbath. And the Most High, man, he always been against our forefathers. You know what I'm saying? For not keeping us, for breaking the Sabbath. So you want to definitely get with us so we can get your calendar. You can start incorporating the feast days. You know what I'm saying? And you can be righteous in those things too. You know what I'm saying? What about, are you working?
Yeah.
What kind of work you do?
Warehouse right now.
Okay. They got you working on the Sabbath or they give you Sabbath off?
They be trying to put me on there, but I give it to somebody else.
Okay, cool.
So I really ain't told them yet.
Well, right, okay. So, let's get Ecclesiastes 6. Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and 36.
The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him.
Right, so now that you have the ability, the Most High gave you the spirit to see us on the live, and now you see us in the flesh, now continue to grow with us. Continue to let us help build you, you know what I'm saying, and Lord willing, you know, we can start, we can be doing the work all over. That's what I'm trying to say. So now as you see men of understanding, the Father said, get deeper times. You know what I'm saying? When you got questions, make sure we get information on you so we can answer the questions. You know what I'm saying? That way we can continue to point you through the Spirit of the Father on the path that the Most High got for you. You know what I'm saying? Because any other way, man, is wicked. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead, you have something?
Nah, I was just agreeing.
Right. So because, and then being by yourself, man, that's a hell of a battle. You know, to where it ain't, because a lot of times when brothers be by themselves, it ain't really no accountability.
You got friends out here?
Yeah, I got friends.
Are they keeping the commandments?
Nah, but they ain't keeping the commandments.
1 Corinthians 15.
Right. 15, yep. And it should be 33.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
Right, so those friends, if they ain't keeping the commandments, they corrupting you. You know what I'm saying? And it might be, you may feel like it's on a small scale, or you may feel like that you got a little power over. No, you got to stay with Scripture. Evil communication, it has always corrupted our manners. Always. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Awake to righteousness.
So now the Most High say, acknowledge it. Awake to righteousness and not think that you can continue to have friendship with the world. Because what does the Father call friendship of the world? Enmity, hatred. You know what I'm saying? When we have friends in the world and we trying to hang on to those relationships, the Most High see that we love them more than Him. Because the evil communication is corrupting good manners. And what should we do with those friends if they're not trying to be down with the commandment? What should we do? Cut them off. 2 Corinthians 6.
Do they go to clubs?
Well, they will go.
Right. And they'll ask you to go.
They will ask you to go.
And we seen it. We seen what the club life is down here.
Right.
It's Sodom and Gomorrah. It's terrible. It's horrible.
You're right.
We got a place down in St. Louis that we call the Belly of the Beast. That's like straight lewd. That thing that we saw, brother, make that look like a Tic Tac. What y'all got going out here? They got like straight square blocks committed to fornication and drunkenness.
That's what then I heard they try to send y'all to Westport. That's what we talking about. Yeah, that's worse.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what y'all went to Westport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way worse.
Yeah, that's where we was, right in the thick of that.
Yeah, it's real bad. Down
That's
there.
horrible.
You can just see the evil down there.
That's horrible.
Right. So those friends, man, that's where they be trying to get you to go. You know what I'm saying? But you remember, so the Most High, you gotta believe that evil communication, trying to stay in touch, and because what Satan do, man, he'll keep pressing, and he'll be patient, and you know what he'll wait on? You'll be strong. They'll be asking you every other weekend. You be like, nah, I'm good. Let you get upset with the sister. That phone ring. Man, let's go out. Where you think? You looking for some shoes.
Right.
That evil communication, it corrupts you. It might not right then and there, but Satan is so patient that he just continue to sit back and look for opportunity. Because he see us. What do he see us doing?
Giving in, basically.
He see us straddling the fence. When the Most High said evil communication, corrupt good manners, this is what you got to do. Go ahead, 2 Corinthians 6 and 17.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them.
So Satan knows that the Most High instructs us to come out from among them. And what?
Be ye separate.
And be separate. In the friendship. But we continue to talk on the phone. We continue to check in. Satan see that and he like, you know what? I got him. It's just a matter of time. The ones that straddle the fence and play with the law, man, oh, Satan, he got them. Because he already got us to ignore what? Come out from among them and be separate. He didn't say be cool. He didn't say try and correct them. Because remember, the ones that's going to hear, they going to hear. And when they do reach out, Satan will deceive you, man, to where they'll give you the impression that they listening, but they only listening why? Because they want the friendship, and they want you to come out. So they'll take heed to whatever it is you're trying to say. Yeah, but let's go. You got to be in before dark. It's a Sabbath. All right, well, let's go. They trying to get you in the car. And then you out hanging out, and the sky get dark, and you still out there with them. And they stopping at the grocery store, at the gas station, you in the car. How righteous is that? Because the example, man, that you supposed to set for them, in their eyes, there ain't nothing wrong. Because they definitely know. Don't you try and correct them about the scripture and say we the Israelites?
Yeah.
Do they really be trying to hear?
Some of them kind of, sort of know.
But they kind of, sort of know, not really. Remember, they just trying to keep the friendship.
Right.
So the Most High said, come out from among them, what?
And be ye separate.
And be separate. It ain't an in-between. Go ahead.
Said the Lord.
Said who?
The Lord.
Go ahead.
And touch not the unclean thing.
And then the Most High. So now, check this out. What's something that's unclean? Pork, right? Can anybody convince you to pick up a pork chop off a plate? You go through the grocery store and you in a meat aisle, you won't even touch it. If somebody mistakenly put a pack of pork chop on top of a pack of hamburger meat, you like, shit, we ain't eating hamburger tonight.
Right.
You don't even want, you pick over that one.
Right.
So now, with the Most High said, so now, the same way that with reverence, you like, not me. The Most High said, touch not the unclean thing. What do you think this unclean thing is talking about now?
Hey, take a flight.
The friendship. The friendship. You get what I'm saying?
I got she walking up to you. I was like,
I did too.
Right. So you gotta cut them loose, man. Yeah. Because now let's get Hebrews 10. No. Read me from unjust man. What is that? Thessalonians.
I think I get it.
Okay. It is. Because this is something that the Most High he's trying to do. He's trying to do to us. We be trying to hold on to. Now, did you grow up with him or something like that? Y'all was so, and that's how a lot of carnal friendships be, because we grew up as childhood friends. and then the Most High called one brother but not the other brother. That's
Proverbs
2
11 and
Thessalonians
7.
3.
You can get that.
What is it?
Proverbs 11 and 7.
Proverbs 11 and 7. Yeah. So hold on. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 7.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, and verse 7. When a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of unjust men perisheth.
Right, so when the wicked man died, his expectation shall perish. What do you think his expectation is? He gonna make it. But what type of man was it? But even in their wickedness, in their mind, they be deceived and still think that the Father gonna deal with it. The Father gonna still accept it. So now, then it says what?
The righteous is the
And the expectation shall perish, and the hope of unjust men shall perish. Because then, how do they? So then they live in the same life. What? Now, where's their hope? Because the same path that they was trying to walk down, they thought it was going to be success. And now what do they understand? It's the same direction. It's the same path. You get what I'm saying? So if they follow, if his hope and his expectation perish, you running with him, what's your expectation? The same thing. You believe in the same thing, but you're going to follow the same path. He hit the lake of fire because you was rolling with him and y'all had the same mindset. You're going to get the lake of fire too. So now, Thessalonians 3. 2 Thessalonians 3 and verse 3. 3 and 1.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 1. Finally, brethren, pray for us, that the word of the Lord may have free course.
So when the word of the Most High is supposed to have free course, that means that it's supposed to freely be in our mind. It's supposed to freely move, have the ability.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to just flourish. It's supposed to go forth and do exactly what it's intended to do. So when the Most High is trying to call us, then he send out his prophets, the words of the prophets. It's supposed to exactly reach us and then change our mind. But when we have unlawful relationships, not just male and female, but friendships, then the word of Father don't have free course. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And be glorified.
Go ahead.
Even
Neither is it glorified, because you got a man that believes and a man that don't believe. The man that believes, his mind is trying to dwell where? In the law. But the man that don't believe, he's like, what? Man, the hell with that. You believe in that stupid Bible? Man, who wrote the Bible?
Right.
Man, I can do what I want. Ain't nothing happened to me thus far. So then what type of spirit does that put in your mind? Well, man, you know what? You getting away with it. That's right. I see. You getting away with it. Well, what can I get away with? So then the word of Father, it ain't glorified no more. It don't have...
8:15.
Say it again.
Please ask us 8:15.
Please answer 8:15.
the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 15. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow.
Right, so the bold fellow, is he righteous or unrighteous? Unrighteous. So now the Most High is saying travel not. So then this is what? This sounds like what? Instruction of the Father. Travel not. How? Oh, travel not. Go ahead.
Travel not by the way with a bold fellow,
Go ahead.
lest he become grievous unto thee.
Because he's going to become grievous unto you, because he going to be living in the world, talking about the world, trying to convince you about the world. So it's grievous. You walking, you with a brother, man, you a man of the Lord, and he talking about where the hoes at.
Right.
You got a woman and a baby at home.
Right.
You like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. And then y'all say y'all driving. And every female that ride by, he like, damn, you see that? You like, man, Why'd I pick you up?
Especially down at that spot.
Yeah.
He can't control himself down at that spot.
He gonna be all over. He gonna be caught. He gonna be wicked. He gonna be so wicked. He'll be like, I'll be back. Come back with a female and her friend, and be trying to push the friend in your face.
Right.
And you like, man, what kind of situation they put you in?
And you trying to get your lady to act right.
Exactly.
Every
Yeah.
time you lie, the spirit gonna tell her he lying.
Yeah.
The Most High gonna tell her he lying.
Yeah.
Right.
Where you been? Where you coming from? So now look at where you at. You torn between being righteous by telling the truth and being wicked or trying to lie and think you're gonna get away with it. Because females know when we up to no good. The Most High do give them the spirit to see when we straight ain't up to no good. Because we supposed to be men of the Lord. That the thing about it is we try and hide our sin, not understanding that, like when you read Numbers 30, get Numbers 32. Numbers 32.
Did you finish that?
No. We're gonna go right back to it. Numbers 32 and 23.
The book of Numbers chapter 32 and verse 23. But if you will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord.
So when we sin against the Father, so remember this. When we sin against the Most High, go ahead.
And be sure your sin will find you out.
We got to be sure and we got to know that our sin is going to find us out. So it's going to tell on us. You get what I'm saying? So we can't, just like we bringing up the example, you'll be in a situation to where you feel like you're going to lie. But the Most High said our sin is going to always find us out. It's going to expose us. And it's going to always come out. But now, why are you in the situation? Why'd you get in that kind of situation to where you feel like you got to lie? Because of the friend. Now go back to that. So Ecclesiastes 8 and 15.
The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 15. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow,
See that? Go ahead.
lest he become grievous unto thee.
Because he is going to be, it ain't maybe, it ain't if, he's going to be in the fence because his spirit is going to clash with the spirit that you're trying to walk in. His spirit is going to try and clash with the spirit that you're trying to walk in. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For he will do according to his own will.
And he going to do what he want to do. Because he, in his mind, he a man, he can do what he want to do. You ain't going to control him. Go ahead.
And thou shalt perish with him.
And what?
Thou shalt perish with him.
Or you going to get away. You going to perish right along with him. You get what I'm saying? So now, is it worth it having the friendship? Because is that a true friendship according to the scriptures? Well, what's a true friendship? Let's go to the 6th chapter. Let's see, Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and 14.
The book,
13.
the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemies.
So now the Father says, separate thyself from thine enemies. Is it only talking, in this case, it's not talking about the nations that hate us. Who do you think it's talking about? Anybody that ain't keeping the commandments and that's trying to cause us to sin, they are enemies. So the Most High says, separate thyself from all the people that's trying to convince you to sin. Go ahead.
And take heed of thy friends.
And then take heed of your friends. Acknowledge and really see who the true friend is. Go ahead.
A faithful
A
friend
faithful friend. That's the friend he wants you to take heed of. Go ahead.
is a strong defense.
It's a strong defense, but what are they a strong defense against? Exactly. They see you, that's like say you with us. And we out teaching and a pack of females walk by. And all the brothers is staying in the word, dealing with the scriptures, and then you just like so happen to follow them around the corner. That strong defense, they can be like, hey brother, you lusting. Like the scriptures say, turn away that eye from the beautiful woman. That ain't what you're supposed to be doing. So a faithful friend is a strong defense. He's the defense against your mind. That'll be trying to tell you to sin. He gonna come in and redirect you. That's the faithful friend. That's the true friend. Not somebody that's gonna agree with you, be like, yeah, but what's big? We're gonna be like, nah, bro, you being wicked, man. And it's gonna be, then they gonna give it to you raw. That's what you want. Not somebody that's sugarcoated, because sugarcoating will cause you to think that it's okay. It ain't that bad. So a faithful friend is a strong defense. Go ahead.
And he that have found such a one have found a treasure.
He that have found such a one, you found a treasure. Because what are we gonna do? We're gonna store up treasures unto the Father. By the examples and the commandments that we keep, Christ and the Father's gonna be keeping those things in remembrance, and then it's gonna lead you to the reward. Go ahead.
Nothing do it countervail.
Nothing doesn't countervail. Ain't nothing gonna be able to come against. Ain't nothing gonna be able to destroy. Go ahead.
A faithful friend.
A faithful friendship. Because y'all bond is in the Word. You know what I'm saying? The Word is the thing that brought y'all together. And the Word is the thing that y'all gonna die in. Go ahead.
And his excellency.
His excellency. What do you think his excellency is? The fact that he see right through all your games. The Most High, man, put men in our lives, man. They'll be telling us how we think.
Right.
And it'll be excellent. But tell you, we won't tell a brother that, damn, you straight read my mind. But it'll be so excellent because we'll be dealing with something. We'll be having a tough day. Or we'll be in a situation. And you know what the Most High have happen? He'll have your phone ring and be like, what's up, brother? How you doing? And with that, how you doing, you got no choice. You like, man, let me go ahead and spill the bean so that I can get help. He's like, man, I'm glad you called.
Right.
That's the excellency of the faithful friend, because the Most High Spirit that be in us, he allow us to come right on time, man, to help one another. Go ahead.
Is invaluable.
It's invaluable, man. Money is nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? Because that friend is going to always be for our benefit, our well-being. But what do these men look like, though? They commandment keepers. So when you find a commandment keepers, that's who you got to join yourself with, because they're the faithful friends. And anybody that's on the contrary, deuces, hey, bro, we can't rock. You know what I'm saying? So now, go back to Thessalonians 3, 2 Thessalonians 3. So now understand that the Father, man, he's trying to bring some new friends into your life. And then trying to rid you of something else. Go ahead. 2 Thessalonians 3 and verse 2. Second Thessalonians 3 and verse 2.
The book of Second Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 2. And that we may be delivered from unreasonable and wicked men, for all men have not faith.
So you got to understand that. The Most High is trying to rid us from unreasonable and wicked men. Because all men don't have faith. And our brothers... brothers don't have the commandments, so they're not keeping the commandments, then they truly ain't got faith in the Father. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you.
So the Most High is faithful, who's going to establish you. He ain't going to allow you to feel lonely. So don't feel necessary that because I'm kind of rocking with myself and I can't see brothers in the flesh. That's why I was like, that's why the brother was trying to stop you, saying, no, we here. You don't turn around and go back home and say, well, I'm going to watch the feed.
Right.
Because when we gone, you're going to be like, man, I wish them brothers were still here.
Right.
You're going to wish that. So now the Most High is faithful, who shall establish you, go ahead.
And keep you from evil.
And keep you from evil. So don't worry, don't get that, don't let that lonely spirit come in to where you feel the necessity to just go hook up with brothers. Because you ain't got nobody to hang with. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what a lot of brothers that don't have the true fellowship of other brothers in their city where they at, that's what they fall prey to. So the Most High established you, and the way he established you is he'll keep teaching you. keep teaching you, man. He'll continue to allow your spirit to grow. You know what I'm saying? You just got to continue to be humble enough to when the Father give you something, you accept it and you eat from it and you take it. You know what I'm saying? Because the second when you start rejecting it, you won't just reject one thing, you'll look around and you rejected the whole faith. You get what I'm saying? So, you sure you got no questions? Okay. So how you keeping the Sabbath? No buying and selling and all of that? No cooking? From Friday, you keeping it from Friday at evening to Saturday at evening? Okay. So, you had something?
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. It's about the spirit of. Everybody wants the spirit of the Most High. And they be wondering like why they can't change, why things won't work for them. It's about the how it won't dwell with consuming envy. I think it's Ecclesiastes. You know what I'm talking about? They call it consuming envy. Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 6. Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6. And 19. Yeah, I get it. Wisdom of Solomon 6:19.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 19.
Right, because the lifestyle that he explaining to you is a lifestyle that's about incorruption. You know what I'm saying? Uncorrupted. You know, yeah, I know that's kind of hard for, you know, coming out the street. I ain't saying you coming out the street, but when brothers and sisters, because it's sisters like that too, that when they be a few months, a few weeks, few years into the truth, and then they still have that fellowship, friendship with the world, with their parents and everything, with relatives, to have that unspotted life is hard. To just leave things and go cold turkey is hard. It's hard. It's painful. It hurt. Your feelings is involved. Your emotions involved. You can't do the things that you used to doing for the last umpteen years. You can't go to the club. Can't go to the spot. You can't hang out. You know what I'm saying? You can't smoke. You can't. Damn. What can I do? I can't drink. You know, I mean, you can drink, but in moderation. You understand? You can't just push up when you want to push up on somebody. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop lying. You know, the homeboys, you can't do it no more. That's the hardest thing. But it has to happen in order for us to be the new person that's born again in the scriptures. All right? So now read.
Wisdom of Solomon 6:19. And in corruption maketh us near unto God.
See that? In corruption, it says, and in corruption maketh us near unto God. So in order to get near unto the Father, we got to take out the things that's corrupting us. That's called lust. That's called lust. Things that are deceiving us, right? Things that keep tricking us and getting us to sin against our God, right? Read.
Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom.
Therefore, the desire of wisdom. So, because we want to be smart, right? We want to be wise. The desire to be wise, it'll make you see the kingdom. Read.
If your delight be in thrones and scepters.
If your delight, that's a statement like if your delight is in thrones and scepters. So you got to be an investor where you like to see the future. You know what I'm saying? You got to actually believe in the scriptures. That people think of
fairy tales. That Israel, man, they gonna overcome, they gonna come up out of the land, that Israel, that they gonna be the governing ruling bodies, that Israel gonna be the real kings of the earth, that Israel gonna, oppress the other nations, put them in slavery captivity, they're gonna be high above. You got a vision that, and then you got a vision that Israel is gonna be the princes of the land, and Israel gonna live as kings and priests. You gotta visualize that. You can't look around the society and the environment and see trash on the ground and then only believe and see the trash. You got to see the future. So it says, if your
delight be in thrones and scepters,
if your delight be in that, read.
O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom.
The scriptures say honor. Honor wisdom. So that wisdom is going to come from the elders of the people. Brothers that's going to teach you and instruct you and tell you, this is acceptable in the sight of the Father. This is not acceptable in the sight of the Father. You understand? So you got to honor the words that they tell you, because what they're telling you is, thus says the Lord. And ain't no brother walking around on the earth today, the Lord. All right? So you got to honor the words that are coming out of the scriptures. You got to honor that. If you desire the scepter, the rulership, power, and authority, honor what they're saying. Read.
That ye may reign forevermore.
That you may reign. You understand? That you may reign. Okay, read.
As for wisdom, what she is and how she came up.
It's the spirit, because this is why I came up here to tell you about this spirit that we all want to have to overcome the situation and problem. We say, oh, it says wisdom, but I'm going to just come out and tell you, uncover it even more and say the spirit. Okay, read.
I will tell you and will not hide mysteries from you.
Right, when I was over, I said, let me tell this brother. They ain't going to hide it from him. Okay, read.
But will seek her out from the beginning of her nativity.
Okay. Meaning from the beginning. The nativity is the birth. The birth, the beginning. So you got to seek it out from the beginning. You know what the beginning is? Right now, today, this moment. This is the beginning of your nativity, of the spirit of the wisdom trying to get into you. This is the beginning. Small baby things. Do this, brother. Do that. Do this, brother. Do that. Small things. We're going to send y'all to do big things. We're going to send you to do small things. You understand? That's the nativity. That's the baby. You don't give a baby a big job. You give the baby a little bitty thing to do. Hold this for me. Take this over there. You understand? That's something. They like, I want to do the big thing, and then when you give it to them, they can't carry it. You understand? So we ain't gonna give you the big. We're gonna the activity of the spirit. That's what we're gonna teach you about, and that's acceptable in the sight of the Father, because He ain't gonna give you something that you can't handle, something that you can't control, something that you can't do. Okay, read.
And bring the knowledge of her into light.
And bring the knowledge of what and how to do it to light. Because the truth is, our people don't know how to do it. Like they don't know what to say to a lifelong friend that they used to going to, what's that spot? Westport. With. They don't know how to tell them no. So we'll put words in your mouth and say no. Tell them, no, man, I'm going to be a Bible study. We Hebrews. When before, you didn't have the nerve to say that. But now you have the nerve to say, no, man, we can't go down there, man. We ain't supposed to be doing it, man. We actually Hebrews, man. Bad stuff happened to people down there, man. They down there doing this and this and this and this and that. You go home, man, your shit set outside. You see? So, read.
And will not pass over the truth. Neither will I go with consuming envy.
The scriptures say that spirit. They say you ain't going to pass over the truth. But here's the thing about it. It's the point. It says, and will not go. The spirit will not go with consuming envy. So now let's break that down, and this is my point. When you consume something, that means you devour it. If you're a brother or if you're a sister and all you do is devour your own lust, the spirit of wisdom ain't gonna go with you, because you're an envious person. Envious meaning you jealous, you desirous of this thing. I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to go here, I want to have that. You only want your way. So the spirit of the Father is not going to go with a person that always wants to consume everything that comes to their mind. The Bible just said the spirit of the Lord will not go with consuming envy. So be mindful of that, my man. You understand? Be mindful of that. You have to actually be afraid, like, man, if I step out of bounds, is God gonna take his spirit back from me? Because he said, he won't go with me. Go to Wisdom of Solomon. Go to the first chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 1, then you come on back up, brother. Wisdom of Solomon 1 and verse 2.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 2. For he will be found of them that tempt him not.
See that? He will be found of them that tempt him not. You know how you ever seen a child, you know, egg to see what, you know, are you gonna get me? Are you gonna get me? The Lord said he'll be found of those people that do not try and step out of bounds to see if what they're doing is acceptable or not. Is he really gonna correct me? Something bad gonna happen like them brothers be saying? Cause them brothers be saying, man, if I go, the Lord, he ain't gonna be with me. I'm gonna get a disease, I'm gonna get somebody pregnant, or this, that, and the other. Something bad gonna happen to me. Why tempt the Father to see if he gonna bring that type of judgment down upon you? You don't even want to find out, because he already know that type of judgment, if it come down upon you, he already know that it's gonna be really bad for you. So he trying not to do something, things like that, man. So he said you will see and understand the scriptures if you don't put yourself in a situation to where you tempting the Father. You breaking the law to see if something bad gonna happen, right? Like a lot of brothers put that woman to the test. They be wicked, right? And say, oh, she ain't gonna leave. She ain't gonna leave. Well, guess what? She might didn't leave. Physically. But mentally, she left. And you know what she did when she mentally left? Bump some cat. You understand? Making arrangements, talking to somebody behind the back. And a lot of brothers, they find out the hard way, man. Read.
And showed himself unto such as do not distrust him.
Right, and showed himself unto such that do not distrust him. That means that you got to believe the scriptures. Read.
For forward thoughts separate from God.
Wicked thoughts, forward thoughts separate from the Father. So, learning the Bible and still thinking about sin is forward thoughts. Still thinking about, you know, sexual positions with a woman. Dope. I'm going to buy a pound of weed. I'm going to break it up into about 500 nickel bags, and I'm going to get 10 grand. You understand? You know, you can tell I don't know nothing about that stuff I'm quoting. But Jake be like that, man. I'm in the truth, man. I'm going to get a pound, man. The earth come from the, I'm going to get halfway rich, man. I'm going to make my rent back, man. And then I'm going to do this, something. That's forwardness, man. Because what are you doing with that smoke? You intoxicating the whole community, man. That way ain't nobody serving the Most High. They all fornicating because they have weed. They stealing, robbing, going to the club, and work and making the white man, African Arab, rich, giving them all their money. Come on, man. Forward thoughts, man. So when you think about sin, the Most High said, you separating yourself from the Most High. Because our mind's supposed to always be continually meditating upon the scriptures. About how can I get, even when things get hard and when things get bad, that's when you're supposed to reach out the most. That's when you're supposed to call a brother or a sister and say, hey, what's up? What you just get getting, you know, can start a conversation. Hey, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? I was just calling to check on you. Is the Spirit gonna tell that person? The Spirit gonna tell that person, say something to you. You know what they're gonna turn around and ask you about? They're gonna ask you about the thing that they know that you always need help with. Brothers call me and they know it. Brothers call me and I know that they always need help and working on their family. I'll be like, yo, brother, what's going on, man? How's the wife? You see what I'm saying? Why am I asking them that? Because I'm actually here to help them. You get what I'm saying? How's the job? How's everything going at work? How was that? What if a brother wasn't? What if he wasn't working? Yo, brother, you been looking for a job? Because I know when you're not looking for a job, and you ain't got no money and you stand in somebody's house, they looking at you crazy. You understand? You laying around all day, probably playing video games, eating up all the food, drinking up all the milk. You got the extra large bowl for the cereal. Nigga, please. When you go do something, that's why they said it. So I'm going to say it for them. I'm going to say, my man, you ain't found no job. You got to get a job. You get what I'm saying? Right. Read that again.
For forward thoughts separate from God.
From forward thoughts separate from the Father. If we all we think about is breaking the laws, stealing, robbing, sin, sex, how you going to be close to the Father, the Most High God? The Father ain't going to be close to you, man. You're going to be close to Satan. When you read, what's that, Genesis 3, the scripture said if you sin, now if you do is not well, sin lieth at the door, Satan. If you don't do well, there's Satan at the door of what? Your mind, not the Father. If you don't do well, it's not the Father. Read.
And his power when it is tried.
And his power when it is tried. Read.
Reprove it the unwise.
Right. When he reproved, that means he rebuked you. When he rebuked you, he chastised you. When he chastised you, you end up hurt, man. You understand? Just like a father go up to his child and he chastised in his hot wrath. Man, he turned that child's behind up. Well, that's how the Father do. That's why you keep hearing the ambulance go down the street and the police department going that way. That's the Father chastening. Somebody gets shot up or somebody in the collision. Since I've been out here, all I've been seeing is car accidents. People being jacked up. They wonder why am I getting jacked up? On the way out here, man, what's that, 70? Yeah. We saw this sister, well, the woman laying out in the highway, out there in the sticks. In the highway, feet facing the sky, man. It wasn't even no car. I'm like, what is she doing? I guess they towed the car away, but they had her on the side of the highway. People getting jacked up everywhere. The Father said, our forward thoughts separate from him, and when we tempt him, he corrects us. He corrects us, man, with discipline. Okay, go ahead.
For into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter.
For into a what? A malicious soul. So if we being wicked, malicious means we have the intent to do certain things. Like say for instance, you're a married brother, you got a woman, that's why I say married, right? You got a woman, right? So if you do things that intentionally hurt her feelings, like yell at her, you understand? Like rough her up, put your hands on her, that's malicious. The Lord said his wisdom ain't gonna get into you. So how are you supposed to deal with a woman, brother? How do you deal with a woman when you disagree?
Softly kind.
Peace, okay. Okay. Soft when necessary. I mean, you can be voiceful, you can be vocal, you can be stern. You understand? Most definitely kind, right? And when things are out of control, if she totally ain't listening, how do you deal with that? Honestly, how have you dealt with it?
Yell back.
Yell back. Okay. So now that'll be malicious. See, that's a wisdom. They ain't coming. You see what I'm saying? And that's why we end up in a fight. People say things that they don't mean. You understand? Words get said, and then we take it to heart because the spirit of the Father wasn't there. What you're supposed to do is then, when you find out that she just straight totally ain't listening, and you've already instructed, go take a seat. Just go take a seat. Say, all right, go take a seat. She ain't got to be the B, the H. You know, you gonna be dead. You ain't S-H-I-T. You like your mom and them. You ain't got to feed into none of that, man. Just go take a seat. Because the last example that you left was an example of, I ain't even finna entertain this thing. And then give her an opportunity to think about what she did wrong, right? Because you're trying to get this wisdom of the Father. Give her an opportunity to think about the thing that she did wrong. And once she pound upon it, she gonna come back ready to talk. She might even come to you. Or you go send up prayers. Because we are the leaders, we are the head, we do have to set all examples. Right? Right. And so where is she gonna learn how to go sit down from when she can't have it her way if you ain't teaching? Are you really getting this thing, brother? You might feel like, damn, man, so now I gotta be a cow, I gotta be a punk, I gotta be soft. She gotta run things. No, but she do have to see an example first, because you the teacher. So you didn't have it your way because she didn't humble herself. You had already stretched it to the end of this thing. You say, okay, I see this ain't working. We ain't agreeing. Listen, I'm gonna go take a seat. Then you go mind your business, brother. Without you didn't rail on her, you didn't this, you didn't that. And let her leave that with thinking that, guess what? He think I'm wrong. You might know she wrong. The Father. See, because God is involved in everything. He gonna put it into her mind, go back and talk to him. He think you wrong. Damn, I am wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, I am wrong. So then she gonna come back and want to talk. Who sent her? The Most High sent her. Then that's when you get a chance to talk. You feel me? That's the spirit right there. Because if you malicious, the spirit ain't in there. Because all she gonna do is accuse you of what you said and how you dealt and how you meant it and what you did. She ain't gonna see the spirit. She gonna see the flesh. But the other way with the spirit, you just taught her something. Then she gonna give you the crown that you need, the crown of respect that you need, because she said, damn, I got a good man. He do it for me. Let me do it for him. You see what I'm saying? The Father gonna work with her, right? That's how you deal with that. But if into a malicious, read that again, then I'm gone. Come on, man.
For into a malicious.
For into what?
A malicious.
A malicious.
So wisdom shall not enter.
Yeah, the spirit ain't gonna be there, man. And this is the fight that we gotta fight, man, every day, all day, brother. With everything, man. To the best of our ability. And it can be draining. That's why we need the fellowship of the spirit. We don't need friendship of the world. Friendship of the world ain't gonna give you this type of advice. Friendship of the world gonna say, man, I'm coming to pick you up. Here, brother.
Right. So it's making sense.
Yeah.
Got a little starter kit, huh?
Right. We get to the house.
All right, bro.
Thank y'all, man.
What's your name?
Latrell
The water.
The water?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All praises, man. Hey, man, I expect to see you more in the classes, man. Hey, let's get your number, man, so I can lock you in, man. I'll probably get you down to St. Louis, man. Yeah, so come out there and fellowship with us, great man, man.
Book of Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Christ was at Bethany at the house of Simon the leper, there came to him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Christ understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath brought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but ye have not always. For in that she hath put this omen on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, that shall also this that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her.
Right. So at the commandment of Christ, he said, wherever this gospel is preached, make mention of this Sister Mary Magdalene, who set an example of Israel of where repentance is. So with that, we say shalom.
All right, Israel, all praises, shalom, Most High Yahweh Shah bless. All right, Israel. So the Spirit was very adamant that I wanted to get some last minute camping, get some last minute street teaching in before we left KC. And so it was very adamant about this spot that seemed to be desolate. But they'll know it was something. I said, no, this is it, this is it. So we set the video up, and then I guess maybe within about 30 minutes, the brothers show up. Hey, Shalom Yarel, what's up, Russell? So this brother show up, and he was at home watching a live. And he said, oh, Shalom, man, remember me? I said, I was just in a live. So I had just met him for the first time. His brother Latrell. So the way the Father works, man, his ways are completely higher. So the Most High had us to come set up on this corner and start recording, to then start building with this brother who's seen a live right around the corner from his house. And we just picked a random spot. We should have been left to be on our way back. You can just unplug it. But I believe in things like that. Nothing is prevention. So Israel, the seeds are being sown. The word is not going out in vain. All praises to the Most High. All right, y'all continue to pray for us. Now we're gonna have a safe. Pray for us to have a safe journey home, as we're gonna pray for y'all. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say Shalom, Most High, and Yahweh Shai, and the world calls Christ bless. All right. Shalom. Yeah, you want to unplug it. Yeah, brother. Shalom, Francisco. Yarel, yeah, brother. Y'all brothers doing a good work, man.
To somebody that Shy was talking to, she wanted to know what the scripture, what those
Posting those videos in those groups, brother, at work, man. Oh, praises, brother. Keep doing it. Y'all doing a good job, all right? We're going to roll this camp up. Shalom.